Today's topic, once again, is how to replace your 9 to 5 income by building a profitable personal brand. And this topic is near and dear to my heart because many of you who have been following me over the years know that I was laid off my job back in 2014, and I was forced to make a decision of whether I go back to doing what I was doing professionally within the healthcare administration industry, or do I bet on myself and start building my own brand as a speaker, coach, and consultant. And I decided on the latter. I decided to build my brand, to build my visibility, and to learn how to become an entrepreneur as a speaker, coach, and consultant. And so that is what we're going to be talking about today. And so if you're just joining for the first time, I am Markeith Brayton, your speaker, personal brand strategist, and digital marketing consultant, where I work with career professionals who are experts in their industry, learn how to replace their corporate income by building a profitable personal brand. And I just wanted to hop on today and share with you some tips and strategies that I used in order to be now full-time in my business, going on 8 years. That deserves a hand clap, I think. 8 years almost being full-time in my business as a speaker, coach, and consultant. And there are some things that I had to learn how to do and that I had to consistently do in order to ensure that I made it these almost 8 years. It's been a blessing to own my time. It's been a blessing to be able to do some of the work and some of the things that I've been able to do over these almost 8 years. And so I thought it would be good to do a podcast episode sharing with you some of the strategies and some of the tips on what do you need to do and what steps do you need to take in order to replace your 9 to 5 income by building a profitable personal brand, whether that is as a speaker, as a coach, as a consultant, as a small business entrepreneur, as a brick and mortar entrepreneur. We live in a time where digital is on our side. We live in a time where we do have social media and access really to the whole world. But there are some things that you have to do in order to really become more visible and known as the go-to person in your industry. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today, these tips and strategies on how do you become the go-to expert in your industry? How do you become the person known for what it is that you do? I don't care if you're a real estate agent. I don't care if you're a local plumber, a local electrician, or a local educator. How do you become known for that thing? And then what does it take in order for individuals to exchange their money for your expertise? And so let's go ahead and hop into this particular segment of sharing these tips and strategies. And yes, we are live with this podcast. So go ahead, make comments, share your questions that you might have as we go throughout this podcast episode. But the first thing that you really have to hone in on and start thinking about is visibility. Now, visibility is so key because we are at the point now where you want to make sure that individuals know who you are and what it is that you do. Well, Markeith, how do I gain more visibility? Traditional sense would say you start doing some marketing where you would buy ads, or you do a billboard, or you do all these traditional things, put things in the paper, or go on the news spots, which all of those are still relevant today, but those are some of the traditional approaches of becoming more visible. What I want to share with you is that one of the best ways to become visible and known for what it is that you do so that you can build a profitable personal brand is that you have to learn how to create content. Somebody type that in the comments as we go throughout this, that you have to learn how to create content. Content is king, I like to say, because this is how you become more visible in the digital age. And some of the things that you can consider when it comes to creating content is you could start blogging. For those of you who like to write, blogging is still very relevant today. There are still people searching in Google and searching for certain expertise and certain things online. And blogging allows you to maximize on what's called search engine optimization, or we call it today SEO. And so you can build visibility through blogging. You could also create content as a vlogger. So you have blogging where you're writing your thoughts, you're sharing valuable information, you're sharing your expertise through blogging, but you can also share your expertise through vlogging, through videos, sharing educational information around your expertise so that people know that you are the go-to person for that particular niche, so that people know that you are the go-to person within that particular industry. I love vlogging. I love doing video. As you see right now, I'm live streaming. This is called video content. The reason why I really love video content is that once you create a high quality video, you can take that video and turn that video into multiple types of pieces of content. I can slice up this video and create reels with this video by cutting it up and providing little snippets just from this presentation. I can strip this video of the audio and turn the audio into my Audible podcast, which many people will be listening to after I upload it to the podcast channel. I can also take this video and take screenshots and make still type carousels through and share with my audience various tips by screenshotting various parts of this video and uploading it as a carousel. And so you have blogging content, you have vlogging content, but then you also have social media, right? And so through social media, we have an opportunity to be able to create content in reels, in posts. I just mentioned carousels. You can do short form video, which are reels. And one of the things that I love about short form video is that all the platforms kind of have aligned themselves where you can share tips and short form videos up to 3 minutes. And so whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, or YouTube, you can share video shorts up to 3 minutes. And you can say a lot in 3 minutes. And so creating content is what's going to help you become more visible. Now, I can't leave this one out. One of the best ways to create content that I love to share with all my clients, that I love to share with anyone who doesn't have a problem with sharing education, doesn't have a problem with being the go-to person, I think you should start a podcast. Whether you are a small business owner, whether you are a nonprofit, whether you are a brick and mortar, I think that you should start a podcast and create your own media company. Why do I think that? Because one of the things that I know for sure is that some of the top media moguls all have podcasts. They're interviewing individuals of success. They're doing solo shows. They're creating studios in their homes. Notice that a lot of these well-known news anchors that were on some of the major networks, what are they doing? They're creating podcasts and becoming their own media outlet. It is proven that in this recent election, many people say that the recent election was determined by podcasts and social media, that traditional media was not one of the major factors in this past election, and that podcast was one of the major factors. And so having a podcast creates what I like to say omnipresence. Type that in the comments. Podcasting and creating video type style content on a regular basis creates a level of omnipresence. One of the things that I consider to be a compliment is that when I'm out and about in the community, or when I see individuals who know me and know my content, they're always telling me, man, you're everywhere online. And in all actuality, I'm not everywhere online, but my content is everywhere online. My content is everywhere online. And there are tools that you can use that can repurpose your content, and you can put it on automation, because we're in this age of AI where that content can be played 24 hours a day. All you have to do is upload it to the technology and the platform, and it will push out your content for you as long as you schedule it. And so you record it or created one thing, especially with video, and you get multiple pieces of content from just the one thing. And so you want to make sure that you are increasing your visibility. You want to make sure that you are visible and in front of people all the time. Now, when it comes to creating content, then you also need to come up with what your strategy is. What's going to be your frequency for your content, especially if you're doing a podcast or a vlog or a blog? How consistent are you going to be? Is it going to be once a week? Is it going to be every other week? Is it going to be every day? You know, growing up watching the Oprah Winfrey Show or many of the other talk shows, it was every day, Monday through Friday, that they had a show, right? They didn't have shows on the weekend, but Monday through Friday at the same time, they was sharing their content. And so you want to come up with your content plan and your content frequency so that you can increase your visibility. Your content is your digital footprint. I'm going to say that again. Your content is your digital footprint. When I type in your name on Google, what will come up? I can guarantee you, if you type in Markeith Brayton in Google, all of my content is going to show up, from my website, from my podcast, from interviews that I've done on other people's podcasts, to my YouTube channel, to my LinkedIn, to my Facebook, to my TikTok. Me creating content, sharing value in my area of expertise of personal branding, digital marketing, and even sharing some of my speaking engagements as well, helps me to create the visibility. Last month, I was able to land several speaking engagements from my content. 2 of those speaking engagements were impromptu speaking engagements because somebody saw my content. They needed a last minute speaker, and they called me and asked me, could I come in and speak for their graduation because of content. And so content is king. Content is king when it comes to you creating your visibility. We're talking about how to replace your 9-to-5 income by building a profitable personal brand. You've got to upload that content. That's right. You got to create the content. You got to upload the content. Uploading the content pushes that content out to your followers and to individuals who are aligned with your message, to individuals who are aligned with your character, to individuals who are aligned with what it is that you do. Here's the thing that I know for sure when it comes to social media. People on social media are nosy. That they want to know what's going on. You know, a lot of times you hear people don't care anything about you, and there's some truth about that. But people do care if you're providing value to them that will make their life better. If you're providing value to them that will give them a different perspective to help them get to their next level, to help them to take that next step, that inspires and encourages them to go after their dreams. People start to care when you start to provide value through your content. And so the first thing in moving or replacing your 9-to-5 income is that you've got to start working on your visibility. And you work on your visibility through creating content in this digital age. And not just any content. Now, there are some people who become well known by creating just frivolous content, but that's not what I'm telling you to do. What I'm telling you to do is that you want to create content that's aligned with your niche, that's aligned with your values, that's aligned with what it is that you want to become known for. What am I talking about today? I'm talking about how to maximize your brand that replaces your income. That's aligned with my messaging on personal branding and digital marketing. The next step is that you want to start establishing your authority. Start establishing your authority. And the great thing about producing and creating content it does begin to establish your authority. One of the first things I did after I got laid off my job in 2014, the following year, I started my podcast because I wanted to make sure that I was known for the thing that I wanted to be known for. I wasn't an author. I wasn't necessarily on a lot of speaking stages. And so the way that I was going to gain my visibility and create authority was that I was going to start a podcast. And my podcast was going to be an interview-based podcast. And the reason why I wanted to do interview-based because it gave me a reason to reach out to people who I knew were successful in their business, who I knew were individuals who were the go-to experts in their fields. Because what's happened sometimes when you are the person who has the media, when you're the person who has the platform and you invite other people who are successful, other people who are the go-to person in their niche, other people who are the go-to person in their industry, and they come on your show, their influence imparts or influences your level of influence. And so I was interviewing all types of people on my podcast, and I have had the privilege of interviewing some highly successful people like Darren Henson and Stedman Graham, and invitations to participate in Bishop T.D. Jakes' Pastors and Leaders Conference, and all of these, Roland Martin, all of these types of individuals I've been able to interview on my podcast. Kirk Franklin, I've had the privilege of being able to do that, and that has helped me to create some level of authority. And so your content helps you to create authority. It helps you to also display your unique approach to doing things. And over time, your authority builds. Now, my next step in establishing and creating my authority is for me to write a book. I should have already had a book written, quite honestly, but I'm not going to start from scratch writing that book. Guess where I'm going to get my content for my book? Go ahead and take a guess. Type it in the comments. Let me know. Where am I going to get my content for my book? I'm going to get my content for my book from my podcast content. I have over 250 episodes of podcast content. So I don't have to start from scratch with my book because I've been creating content consistently over the years, and it has helped me to establish authority. And that authority that I've been able to establish in this particular industry is how I get speaking engagements, how I've been able to be a guest speaker at conferences, how I've been able to do workshops and development, how I've been able to build new revenue streams in my business. I'll tell you something that was really exciting for me, even though we weren't going through the most exciting time. And that is during the pandemic, a lot of organizations were, especially nonprofit organizations, were not able to have their live events, their in-person events. And so organizations were having to figure out how will we still be able to raise money and still engage with our donors and individuals who are part of our organization. And so they had to shift to virtual events. Well, because people knew me as a podcaster, because people knew me as a content creator, because people knew that I produced my own media, organizations were reaching out to me to help them do virtual events and then birth a virtual event revenue stream for my business. Why? Because I was creating content and I became an expert and how to produce high-level video content from my podcast. And so not only did I create visibility, but I created authority because I was consistently producing and creating new content for individuals to consume. And so it's so exciting to know that if you're consistent, if you're persistent, if you are someone who wants to provide value, someone who wants to give educational content to individuals to help them move from where they are to where they want to be, then the opportunities exist for you. That there will always be opportunity for the person who's willing to share their information, for the person who's willing to share their expertise, for the person who's willing to help others get from where they are to where they want to be. And so in order to replace your 9-to-5 income, you've got to build a personal brand that is visible and that commands authority. The third thing that you need to have in order for you to be able to replace your 9-to-5 income with your brand is that you've got to have connection. Connection is so important. And how do you create connection? You create connection through your messaging. What is your message? What is your story? What do you stand for? What are the things that inspire you? Why did you create what you created? Why are you where you are today? What makes you, you? Right? And so you want to make sure you establish connection. There's a saying that people do business with who they know, like, and trust. How do we build that know, like, and trust? We build that know, like, and trust through our everyday content. We build that know, like, and trust by sharing valuable, helpful information. It was Zig Ziglar who said, he's a speaker, personal development speaker, leadership trainer, the late Zig Ziglar. He said that if you can help people get what they want in life, you can have what you want in life. So our job as entrepreneurs is to help solve challenges, to help resolve pains in other people's lives. And we do that through connection. We do that through sharing our story with other people. We do that by solving their problem. You are the Tylenol to somebody's headache. I like that. You are the Tylenol to somebody's headache. And so with the right content that helps you get visible, that helps you build your authority, you can make the connection. Well, Markeith, how do we really make that connection? You make that connection by really knowing who you are. You make that connection by really understanding your story. And you make that connection by identifying who's the one person that you're speaking to every day. For example, I really believe I'm speaking to that Gen Xer who spent time in their 9-to-5 for the last 15 to 20 years, and they have a desire for more in their life because they know that they can have more, because they know that they're an expert in their industry and they want to step out on faith and start their own thing as a coach, consultant, as a speaker, but they're not really sure where to start, and I'm not really sure the step-by-step of how to get there. That's the one person that I am really speaking to. Why? I'm a Gen Xer. I'm a person who had a professional career. I am a person who was laid off my 9-to-5 job. I am a person who decided to build my brand and create opportunity for myself so that I can own my time, have more freedom, be able to travel and do the things that I want, and also be able to create income and make money no matter whether I'm in Nashville, LA, on the continent of Africa, no matter where I am, because this is the type of business that I wanted to start, that I wanted to build. And so a lot of my messaging and a lot of my content is going to be around online-based business and digital marketing and personal branding. Those three steps of making content to be more visible, making content to build your authority, and then making content that builds connection. Once you have those three things in place, now how do you get paid? How do you make money? There's several ways for you to make money. You create opportunity, what we call offers. Your offers are products and services that people can purchase that need your help in whatever the particular area is. For example, I have coaching programs. I have an online academy. I have also services that I'm really kind of moving away from doing services like one-on-one type services because I want to take my entire business online as an education online business, but services. And so you have these offers as a service, as a product, and you're sharing those offers with individuals on how they can do business with you. Now, when it comes to online, when it comes to digital marketing, not only do you have these services or these products, but you have to work on your systems on the back end. We love technology at Markeith Brayton and Company, LLC. We love technology. We love AI. We love automation, because these are the things that help us on the back end run the business even while we're sleeping. And so you want to make sure that you have a method to your content so that you're leading people to opportunities to be able to purchase and do business with you. That's how you replace your 9-to-5 income, those 3 methods, and then you have something that people find valuable that they want to buy. It's really simple, but not necessarily easy. It's a simple concept, but yes, there is some work that has to be involved in order for you to be successful in replacing your 9-to-5 income by building your own brand. And so I'm always excited to be able to share content with you of value. And if you are ready to, really start taking some steps, but you're really not sure what those steps need to be, I have an offer for you right now where you can maximize your brand and maximize on my unlimited laser coaching program by going to markeithbraden.com/laser coaching to learn more about that program, where we walk alongside you based on what you consider to be important for your business and making sure that you are excited about what it is that you want to create. Now, I would be doing this podcast episode while they're cutting grass right outside my window, so I don't know if you can hear that or not. But yes, markeithbraden.com/laser coaching. markeithbraden.com/laser coaching to learn more about how we can work together and provide greater value to you as you are on this journey of replacing your 9-to-5 income with a profitable personal brand. And this topic came from an email that I sent out recently. And so if you're not on my email list, make sure that you're on my email list. All you have to do is type in the comments. Let me know that you would like to join the Maximize Your Brand community. And I will be sure to send you that link as time moves forward so that you are getting the necessary content and making the necessary connection to me as we go throughout the rest of the year. We are halfway through the year at this point, and I want you to be able to maximize your time and maximize your brand so you can create the life that you crave. So once again, if you're interested in coaching, I do have the unlimited laser coaching program currently. Just go to markeithbraden.com/laser coaching. So excited to always be sharing with you. So excited that you have been participating and engaging and sharing what it is that you are passionate about so that you can replace your 9-to-5 income by building your own brand or media company. And so until next time, just remember this: always shoot for the top, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Take care.